All right, brand new I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is coming up next with special guest from Sportsnet New York. She's a burgeoning big shot, big star in the world of sports reporting, and just general shit talking when it comes to sports. She's very outspoken. If you don't know her, you're going to know her. Taylor Rooks is rocking with us on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. But first, me and G Moody, whose last name rhymes with duty, are going to talk about traveling to and from Toronto. We have some sick fucks and so much more on a smash mouth I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast with very special guest Taylor Rooks. Look her up, TaylorRooks. Today's episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is brought to you by Casper, our longtime partner and friend. They are a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. Get $50 off any select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/champ. That's Casper.com/champ. And don't forget to use the promo code CHAMP at checkout. Miles, Jordan, let's start this off with something funky, something real proper. All right, brand new I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, me and G Moody. If you hear some honking, if you hear some horns in the background, that is the sound of summer in New York City. We are back from a fantastic show in Toronto. We tore shit down Friday night. It was our pleasure. It was our honor to do it. It was our pleasure. It was our honor to kick ass for the people of Toronto. How you feeling back in New York City, Moody? How did you like performing in the country of Canada for the first time?
Oh, man. Canada, Toronto was great, man. The people, you could feel the society being different, very friendly, very clean. I was my man Kwame took me around, saw some spots, had some jerk chicken in Toronto. Was really good. And I want to thank him. And Canada is good. The people are nice. Can't speak more highly enough of these people, man.
Yeah, the people were very friendly. I had a great time. It was a short trip. The only complaint I have, because I'm never going to not complain, is twofold. One, the TSA guy who jammed me up at LaGuardia Airport, the shithole airport in New York. If you're going to be in New York and you can avoid flying out of LaGuardia, do so at all costs, because all the flights are only able to leave in one direction, and that causes delay after delay after delay. But the TSA guy who went through my bag, went through my underwear, went through the golden microphone kit of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, unpacked my shit, forgot to pack my fucking jeans back in, which was a pain in the ass. I had to go get new jeans to do the broadcast of the Big Three. And then you got jammed up coming back to the United States. Did you have a long line at the border?
Oh, no, I didn't. You had 90 minutes, right?
I had 90 minutes at 7 in the morning. It was crazy long line. There was nothing I could do about it. I just waited patiently, listened to my soul music, had that good Lenny Williams and that good Isley Brothers and my soul collection. And I just waited patiently. I didn't complain. There were families with 2, 3, 4 kids. There was a family behind me with 4 kids, young couple that had 4 kids. I told the man, you braver than I am. He must really enjoy skeeting, because he had 4 kids, and I think he was like 30 years old. They were freaking out because they were going to be late for their flight. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Border Patrol guy who fucked me, Mr. Ruiz, or Border Patrol Ruiz guy, because when I finally got up there, he said, and I quote, "Agent Don Self." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I thought that was you." And I said, "You saw me on that big ass line?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, fucking thanks for nothing, man." He had me fucking waiting there, and he's up there like talking to me about Prison Break. Nobody wants to talk about Prison Break. I'm trying to make my fucking flight, Duke.
Yeah, man.
He said, I thought that was you. So why didn't you come get me out of this misery, man? But as soon as I got through, it was like the Indianapolis 500 people, the family behind me, and this is no bullshit. They took their child seats, threw them down the escalator, and were sprinting down the escalator. People were running like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to make it to their flight. And I know we got to keep the border safe. I know they got a job to do, but you need more people out there. If you're going to have 200 people, 300 people on a line, get the amount of people. So if people wait on a line for 90 minutes, they're not going to miss their fucking flights.
The Canadians do it their way.
Anyway, that was the only complaint I have. You know, I can't I can't complain, but I do. I want to give a shout out to LeBron James. LeBron James, the guy who Laura Ingraham said shut up and dribble to. He just opened up a school in Akron, Ohio, fully funded school for at-risk kids. This school is state-of-the-art. It goes above and beyond for the students and the families of the students. It's apparently a very special school, a very special place. And LeBron James, who I break his balls a lot, as you all know, put his money where his mouth is, put his leverage as a star and as a wealthy person where his mouth is, and open up a school. So I wanted to give him a tremendous congratulations, tremendous nothing but respect, tremendous just, I mean, shit. That's a big deal to do that, and he deserves nothing but respect for that. And I always try to separate the basketball player, the character of LeBron James, from the person within my shit talking. And I mean, what could I say? I mean, the guy opened up a school, and I know it was a big deal to him, a big deal to all the kids that are going to probably have their lives changed from having this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So salute to the king, of course, King James. And this is more than a gesture. This is putting your money where your mouth is. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, after the kneeling, now what? Right? So this is a guy who put his money where his mouth is. That's what time it is. It's about being proactive. And this guy opened up a school. That's no gesture. That's no kneeling. That's action.
Yeah, so, that's real action.
Commendable. That's commendable.
Completely commendable. You can't say anything about it. That's a huge, big deal, and I'm sure it's going to inspire other people to do things like that. And I want to give him love and respect. Another thing that happened in LeBron James' world, his son is playing in an AAU tournament, high-end AAU basketball tournament in Vegas the other day, and one of the games had to be canceled because a fan there was in there talking crazy to LeBron James in real life. See, this is where you deserve to get your ass kicked. Like, he's there trying to be the best father he could be. He had no relationship with his father, and he's at his son's game trying to support his son. And you're screaming and yelling, talking so much shit. You probably went to the game. I don't know who the person was. I don't know if he wasn't arrested or anything. The game was just canceled. You probably went to the game just to have this moment with LeBron James. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, just to try to get some fame. Man, you just caused the game to be shut down.
For a kid's game.
Man, he should be not allowed into any other game.
Yeah, they should arrest him. Apparently, the guy that was doing it showed up in a Michael Jordan jersey. You dumb fuck you. You dummy. You dummy. Michael Jordan wouldn't look you in the face if he saw. He doesn't know you breathe, you dummy.
Yeah.
But then consequently at another AAU game, because it can never just be things can never go smooth with LeBron James. While his son's team was warming up, LeBron James out of nowhere in a capacity-packed high school gym filled to the rafters, decided to join his son's team for the layup line, which turned into a dunking exhibition.
Why you on the layup line, man? Damn, the layup line is for these 13-year-old kids. Of course you could do windmills and all that.
And why are you doing the windmills now, but in your 15-year career, you never entered a dunk contest? But what he did, the dunk display that he did without any warm-up, it would be competitive in any dunk contest. But you've never done that. Yo, let the shorties rock. Let the shorties clap boards and do all the shit they're doing. Why are you on the layup line?
Yeah, my pop's on the layup line. Imagine we playing back at Citywide in Queens or something, and then my pops is on the layup line.
Imagine my father's out there doing like little underhand shit.
Doing that George Mikan shit.
Imagine anybody else's father out there doing that shit. He'd be like, yo, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. I'm sure he got the other kids gave him a little flack. Like, yo, he's LeBron, but yo, your pop's on the line, man.
Yo, let Shorty live, man. Let them do their little reverse layups and all the bullshit that they do.
Right. Oh, it's about LeBron. You don't got to dunk it. Why don't you shoot from half?
We know what you could do. Why don't you sit down and videotape the game like every other father, Duke?
Yeah. It's bugging, man.
You brought up the protest. I'll throw this to you so, you know, hopefully we can get into an argument about this. The NFL protest is going to continue to be a never-ending conversation that supersedes the reason why the players are even protesting in the first place. Whether or not they should protest or whether they should protest has completely overshadowed why the guys started protesting to begin with. But Dak Prescott responded to Jerry Jones, you know, good old boy Jerry Jones. He said that he won't accept any Dallas Cowboys protesting, and they're going to be fined. And he made a threat, basically saying, "Don't protest, you fucks you." And Dak Prescott came out and he said that he would never protest, and he caught a lot of flack because people are calling him a coon, people are calling him Uncle Tom.
No.
And all this stuff.
Can I break it? Let me just break it. When they call him that kind of means he's right. When he gets called the names, that means he's kind of right. Go ahead, continue.
Oh no, I'll let you go on because I'm gonna let you talk yourself into a G Moody fucking ditch here. Go ahead.
My position, I would be like Jerry Jones. This is what I would say. I don't discourage any protest, but as a business owner, we have rules, and my rule is we stand for the flag, right? And we don't discourage. If you want to do it here, just realize that there's consequences for bucking the rules. So I would have that position clearly stated. So if I'm not discouraging any protest. You know what I'm saying? I will get with you. But if you're in my job and you're on at my business, there are laws that I have for conduct. So if you choose not to do that, there's a consequence for that. And that's it. That's how you should do it. So you put the ball in their court.
So but going back to the thing you initially said, that if you get called a name, you're probably right?
Yeah. If they calling Dak Prescott a coon and this and Uncle Tom and this, and usually when the name calling comes, that means this guy doesn't think like you. So, of course, you're going to call him a name. But if you think about it, he said, yo, this isn't the venue for that. And, yo, that's right. That's fucking right. So that's why it turns people off, because the anthem is being played and people are, in the stands, like they're patriotic. This is football. So it kind of turns people off to see that. And this is what's happening. And the owners didn't state any rules. So that's why it's a confusion about it. But Jerry Jones said, I don't care what the NFL said. This is my team. This is what it is.
But he's had dudes that have smacked around their wives, dudes that have been like over and over using cocaine. What was the guy, Craig? I can't remember his name. The defensive end. He's a fucking lunatic. He beat his wife.
Hardy.
He let him play. No problem.
But he's not discouraging. He's not saying this is not disciplinary. It's like, yo, it's my team. Remember, this is business. This is the owner. This is my team. And I have a conduct policy of standing for the national anthem. If you don't do that, then there's consequences. It ain't about you being able to protest. This is the rule on this team.
Yes.
And if you don't want to follow the rule, then get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes. Speaking of protests and coon and these words and all this kind of thing and the divisiveness of this entire protest, which again is superseding the reason why people are protesting to begin with, the argument on whether you should be allowed to or not is taking that over. I woke up this morning, got my coffee, and I saw that the word Nazi was once again trending on Twitter. And I realized, fuck coffee, fuck a bagel, cream cheese, and lox. There's no way to get your day started.
Right.
The best way to get your day started, you don't need to exercise, is to see the word Nazi trending on Twitter. That's when you know everything's just going to be okay and hunky-dory. What a great way. What a great thing to see. And it was trending for a few reasons. One of the reasons was that the word Nazi was spray painted in the darkness of the night. Of course, they do it in the darkness of the night because these guys are all little fucking fuck boys on a synagogue in Indiana. And then there were a few other uses of the word Nazi that got it trending right here in the city of New York. I don't know if it was trending across country, but it was trending here in the city of New York. And I just felt like $1 million. And when I saw Nazi trending on Twitter, I was like, I am going to tackle this fucking week like Lyle Alzado in his prime. I'm going to be a fucking Mark Gastineau sack machine, dick fucking butt this, and just sack some fucking people because that's the way to start the week.
That's right. Fucking Nazi nostalgia. What the fuck, man?
People are insane, man. Another thing that was interesting, and listen, we both said this, although Moody has offended a lot of people. But nobody likes to see families separated, whether they are sneaking into the country or not. We'll say that again. Nobody supports that. There's got to be a way to deal with that, and that has to be fixed. But there's a very extensive article in New York Magazine, which I've said many times is the Hipster Manifesto. They did an article about what it's like for undocumented New Yorkers and their loved ones living in New York. They contacted more than 100 people around the city, immigrants, lawyers, and advocates. There are 500,000 undocumented New Yorkers living in fear. The article is very interesting. It talks about the fear that they live in being undocumented. And I wanted to say, fuck New York Magazine. Let me tell you something. Driving without a taillight has you living and driving in fear. Driving with a suspended driver's license has you living and driving in fear. Not paying child support and sneaking around has you living in fear. Okay?
Yes.
Oh, no one wants to see families separated. No one supports that. But if you do the crime, you got to do the time. And there's a reason why you're living in fear, because you know you did something wrong. You don't give a fuck about people that didn't pay child support. You'd call them a piece of shit. You don't give a fuck about people that can't afford to pay different fines and different summons that they have to pay. They didn't mention any of that in the New York Magazine. But they have such a bleeding heart for people that snuck over. Of course they're going to live in fear. Listen, obviously, if you're willing to do that, there must be pressure and there must be tough situation that you want to come to the United States and sneak around. But while doing so, if you don't do it the right way, one of the consequences is living in fucking fear. That's just, and no matter what the crime is, no matter how high, how low, if you're on some Thelma and Louise running from the FBI, that's part of breaking the law. It could be as simple as a broken taillight and you're driving around because you have to drive around. You're going to be living in fear. You're going to be nervous. So shut the fuck up, New York Magazine.
Yeah. They try to have these little expose. And there's a reason why they're in fear. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said. So don't try it with that bullshit. We understand what it is. We know. I know that you're just trying to paint it in a different light. But undocumented, illegal. That's the point I was making. It's like, that comes with that.
And they act like this shit just started in 2018, 2017. This has been going on for years and years and decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. It's just become a hot topic and that people are paying attention to now. But all this they're living in fear and we feel so sorry. Come on, man. That's fucking crazy, man. Of course they're going to be living in fear. Of course they're going to be uncomfortable. Of course they're going to be afraid of getting caught. They snuck into the country.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying, man. That's where it starts off wrong at. And unfortunately, man, these guys try to paint it, but they never focus on, when you sneak across, no matter your situation, you broke the law. You broke the law of the United States. You broke in. So, of course, you're going to be like, oh, shit, I'm fearful. But they try to paint it as, oh, look what they're doing to them. Come on, man.
Yeah, New York Magazine is some bullshit, man. They're just like the bullshit-ass magazine, the Hipster Manifesto, that I don't even know why I continue to read. Last Chance U, the Netflix show, I talk about it later on with Taylor Rooks. If you never see, I think probably a lot of listeners have seen it, but season 3 is, I think, the best season ever. I'm thoroughly enjoying that. I just want to give a shout out to that show, Netflix, Last Chance U. It's the 3rd season, totally different school, totally different kids. And the star of the entire series is this coach, white dude, who grew up in South Central, and he is just, you love him, you hate him. He's screaming at kids, screaming at coaches, cursing. He's a fucking trip to watch. But it's very entertaining, Last Chance U. You should watch it, Moody. You could just watch season 3 because every season's brand new, and it's like a document. It's like Hard Knocks, like HBO's Hard Knocks, but it takes place at this junior college. It's all football. You should watch it. You'll dig it.
All right.
It'll conjure up memories of you playing ball, and you'll dig it. Like it'll conjure up like feelings and people you knew, and people that played junior college and had opportunities. It's a dope show. I definitely go into it a little bit more with Taylor Rooks, but if you have never watched the show, you should check it out. And Moody, you should definitely check it out. I know you fuck with your Netflix.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Another show that I've gotten addicted to, and I've followed this woman on Instagram. I've unfollowed her, followed her, unfollowed her because her page is disgusting. But Dr. Pimple Popper, she has a very popular page on Instagram.
I saw that.
And she's essentially a dermatologist, but she's like a dermatologist that treats, severe skin diseases, pimples, keloids, and all that stuff. So, like I said, I followed her on Instagram, but then I'll unfollow her because it's disgusting. And she's just a great personality, like very funny. She gets that it's disgusting. She has a show on TLC, the Learning Channel, and I have to say it's probably the most graphic, foul shit on TV. It's like a train wreck. And you watch it, but you want to not watch it, but you can't look away from it. And I watched all 3 episodes, the first season of Dr. Pimple Popper. I want this woman on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. It's disgusting to watch, but you can't turn away from it. Did you watch this shit?
I saw the promos for it. I want to see it. I want to see how all that crazy stuff that she can do, man, and to get rid of these fucking skin conditions.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's fucking gross. Speaking of gross, this is the second time this happened this year. On Spirit Airlines, a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Myrtle Beach, Florida, a short flight, had to land because passengers were throwing up. Passengers were having burning throats and chest pains, and they landed the flight. And the smell was caused by dirty socks. There was a passenger on there who had dirty socks, that apparently had dirty socks in their bag. And this is a pig. This is an animal. And it's a short flight. And if you're going to take your shoes off and you can't afford, let's take your socks off. Put your fucking feet in some boiling water and clean your feet before you get on the plane. They should spray these people down before they get on the plane. Hose these animals down.
Damn. I don't even know what to say, man, about that, man. That's crazy, man. How you gonna come on the plane like that, though?
I don't know. 220 passengers on the flight. 10 of them were transported to a hospital because of the unknown substance, unknown smell, and they got that ill. They had to go to the hospital because one animal wouldn't clean their fucking feet.
See, that's some discount airlines, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Got to be careful. You get what you pay for.
Yup. You're going to some little 99-cent airline. You're going to get the dregs of society. You're going to get that.
People are up in arms because TSA, and I have to say I am proud that we've been on the front lines of all this crazy stuff with all the fighting, all the smells, all the dogs acting crazy on the planes. People are upset because TSA marshals have been secretly following and recording passengers not suspected of criminal activity. I have no problem with it. Listen, we all want to be safe when we're in the air. We all want to know what happened on 9/11. And this is the measures that you need to take to try to find out who's who and what's what. You want to track me through the airport? You want to track me when I go in the bathroom? You want to track me? I'm not doing anything wrong. The only people that are offended by this are that, like my civil rights and all that. What you got in your bag, Duke? What do you got in your bag?
Yeah, open that up, man. Open that up. Open that bag up, man. We're going to follow you. I wouldn't care. For safety, like you said, we're not doing nothing. We're walking through the airport. That's good. All you're gonna do is watch me go to the bar and get a rum and coke.
That's it.
That's it. And then I'm gonna wait for them to board. So I'm good with it. Now, if you're doing some other bullshit, then you have a problem. Like, this is like you said. Our civil rights. Nah, man. They trying to be safe. That's it.
That's it. Because God forbid something happens, we're all gonna have questions. And why didn't we do enough? You want to unpack my bag and steal my jeans? Knock yourself out. You want to do all that? I have no problem with it. The lines suck, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to keep all of us safe. So you want to follow me around? Because every time I get to the airport, I drop a nice deuce in the bathroom. I drop a nice. You want to follow me in there and smell and see that I'm eating good? Go ahead. I have no problem with it.
I'm eating good. Word.
To follow up on the serial pooper in New Jersey, because there's been about 4 of them this year. We talked about this.
What's up?
Huh?
What's going on with all this, man?
Oh, well, this gentleman in New Jersey, the superintendent, who was accused of pooping in the high school, the football track, on a daily basis.
I remember this, yeah.
You remember? He made the sick fuck of the week, I think it was in May or April.
Yeah.
We don't fact check. He's resigned from his $140,000 a year job.
What crap?
Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, that's what happens.
Damn.
I wanted to throw this at you, Moody. This happened in Queens, St. Albans, Queens, out there by Fife Dog and Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
2 brothers. One of them was 16. The other one is 26. 26 and 16 years old. They woke up to find a burglar in their house. They beat the shit out of him with a baseball bat and stabbed this fuck. The other brother ran away at one point to call for help, and they killed the burglar in their home. The crook was rushed to Jamaica Hospital where he died. Now, obviously, you don't want to celebrate deaths, but if you break into someone's house, this is the risk you face. These 2 brothers were about that life. One of them pulled a baseball bat. One of them pulled a knife, and they killed this fuck.
Oh, yes. Sarah. And I expect the mayor's office to get in contact with these guys, their family, and have a proclamation as whenever that day happened, that's their day in New York City.
Yeah.
Because you take care of a guy. Because once they break into your house, that's your family. It ain't you determine how I'm going to kick his ass. Yo, we trying to stop the threat. He broke into the crib.
Yeah, he broke into the fucking crib.
That's it. Now you get dealt with, and you died. Sarah.
Yeah, we didn't plan it that way. It just happened. I mean, shit.
Yep.
Again, speaking of cribs, this Saturday night, August 4th, in New York City. We are back at the crib. Gramercy Theater, the world-famous Gramercy Theater. Me and G. Moody, whose last name rhymes with Duty, live from New York City. Mr. New York plays New York. the 3-time podcast co-host of the year, live from New York.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Tickets are still available at IamRapaportTour.com. You know we're going to tear shit up. We tore shit up in Toronto. We are going to tear it up this Saturday, August 4th. We're meeting and greeting every single person that wants to meet and greet. We're taking selfies. We're shaking hands. We're kissing babies. Saturday, August 4th in New York City.
Yeah. Can't wait.
How did you like the live show in Toronto? Like, just like performing live. Do you get nervous?
Oh, nah, man. Yo, it's fun, man. We're revolutionizing this shit, man. We like the heckles because we deal with the heckles and we include the people in the show. So we did 2 hours. It really goes by so fast, man. I'm disappointed when the show is over. There's no nervousness because it's fun.
Yeah, it was really good. Toronto, the Toronto show, we're gonna post that. We're gonna do it like a jazz record. The Disco 2 live from Toronto. We're gonna post that soon. And the entire I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast World Tour continues. I Am Rapaport Tour this Saturday, August 4th in New York City. Saturday, August 18th in Houston, Texas. Paul Wall's gonna be in the house along with some other special guests. Paul Wall is rocking with us in Houston, Texas. Wednesday, August 22nd in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Union Transfer. And Saturday, August 25th in Boston, Massachusetts. IamRapaportTour.com. Tickets are available at IamRapaportTour.com. This was another thing that I woke up to the other day that I just wanted to hit real quick before we get into Taylor Rooks. Have you ever heard of Bigfoot Erotica?
Nah. Go ahead. I'm looking forward to hear this shit. Go ahead.
I've never heard of this, but you learn something new every fucking day. And apparently this is some sort of fetish. Like people, men, women fantasize about being captured by like a monster, like a Bigfoot monster. Men have fetishes that they are Bigfoot. They're roaming and then they swoop up women. And some sick fuck who's running for Congress, and his name just happens to be Devin Riggleman. He just happens to be running against Leslie Cockburn, and she outed him. She's his opponent. She outed him as a sick fuck and as a Bigfoot erotica freak. She started posting some of his old posts, and I think you should automatically take yourself out of the running. If you have a Bigfoot fetish, I don't want you in my Congress. I don't care if the people vote you in. I just think you're sick. You're a sick ant. That's what you dream and fantasize about that? Sorry.
Yeah, you're not mentally competent. We can't trust you to carry out the state's affairs if you want to fuck a monster. You want to turn into a monster to try to scoop a hitchhiker off the road.
Nah,
Come
dude.
on, man.
Nah, we're not doing that. And I'm glad you got outed as a sick fuck. Finally, before we get to Taylor, which is going to be a dope interview, a pack of pit bulls on Strong Island, they mauled and killed 2 dogs. They were on the loose, 2 10-year-old chihuahuas. One of the dogs, the name is Remy. Shout out to Higher Learning. Remy and Bentley were killed when 3 pit bulls jumped their fence and mauled these little chihuahuas. Keep your fucking dog on a leash, okay? And that's why I don't mess around with any animals that I feel like could potentially beat me in a fight.
Yo, now that you're talking about dogs, this is they need to go over there to, I think it's North Korea or whatever. Yo, they over there bugging with them dogs. It's like they boiling them alive because they in their culture. They said the more dog meat you have, it's like when there's a heat wave, it keeps you cool.
Yeah, right. So it's sick animal.
Yo, so it was a heat wave, and they showed them boiling dogs a lot. Yo, you got to go over there, man. Some ASPCA, whatever. Go over there, man, and handle that shit.
They're trying to stop it. People that were over there for the Olympics, they were saying, yo, we were in diners and they were pulling out the secret sauce menu and there was like dog soup and all that. Come on, what the fuck is you trying to do, man?
Yeah.
You trying to cook my fucking dog? You trying to cook Wheezy? The fuck out of here with that crazy shit.
I mean, after a while, human beings have evolved. That's the lower. You don't have to eat a fucking dog, man. What the fuck, man?
All right, coming up next, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. She's a budding star in the sports world. Taylor Rooks. She's on Sportsnet New York. She's a shit talker. She's very opinionated. She knows what she's talking about. She's blowing up. She's doing the damn thing. She's got a dope podcast. She gets dope guests. Next, special guest on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, Taylor Rooks. All right, you know that I love to sleep on a Casper mattress, and I've been doing it for years. And now you can too. Get $50 off select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/champ and use the promo code CHAMP at checkout to save $50. Casper's breathable design helps you sleep cool and regulate your body temperature through the entire night of sleep. Listen, I've been rocking with Casper for about 4 years now. They're not just a mattress company. Casper offers an array of products to ensure overall better sleep experience. They have sheets, they have the best pillows, the best comforters, and so much more. Plus, Casper mattresses are made in the United States. Buying a Casper mattress is easy. Order online, it's delivered to your door in a compact box, free shipping and free returns in the United States and Canada. The most important thing is that it's risk-free. You can get a Casper mattress for 100 days, 100 nights. You could have a 100-night sleep trial. If you're not happy, you can return the mattress free of charge. 100 days, 100 nights. If you do not like it, it's returned free of charge. Listen, we spend 1/3 of our lives on a mattress. It's important to truly sleep on a mattress before committing. That's why Casper gives you 100 nights to try it out. Ever since I've been sleeping on a Casper mattress, I've been sleeping like a gigantic baby. The entire I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast crew sleeps on Casper mattresses. That's how we stay ready. Go to Casper.com/champ. Get $50 towards any select mattress. Terms and conditions apply. That's $50 towards any select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/champ. Use the promo code CHAMP at checkout to save $50. Trust me, Casper mattress, Casper pillows, Casper sheets, Casper comforters are the best in the world. All right, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. My guest, Taylor Rooks, who I'm a fan of.
Oh, I think I'm a fan of you, so look how that goes.
New York Sportsnet, New York sports in general. You grew up in a family of athletes.
I did. I, however, am not one, so let's just say
no
that
athletic
off top.
skills? What?
No, see, the thing is, I genuinely feel like I am a natural athlete. I can go out and play like softball or play catch. I'm very good at that. I just was never like Serena Williams or anything.
I got you. So you got the basics, like you could swing a bat, catch a ball, make a shot.
Oh yeah, like we did the I was in CC Sabathia's like celebrity softball game. My first at bat, I hit a single, no big deal.
Did you? Okay, it's bigger when you're out there and it's bigger than you think, right? Like
yes,
when you're in like a regular.
I just don't want to go out there and completely miss this ball, and it was good.
Especially in the social media age, because if you miss a ball or
you'll become a meme instantly.
Right. So you're into, because I haven't really had anybody other than my wife to talk about this, and I love Last Chance U. So I'll just jump into that.
My gosh.
Now,
yes.
before we get into it, have you watched the entire season 3?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't watched the entire season 3.
Okay, where are you at?
I'm halfway through, so we shouldn't give spoilers anyway. But let's just talk about how fucking good. I mean, that show, first season kicked ass, second season kicked ass, third season. Maybe the best season because the coach is fucking nuts.
He is insane.
I mean, I love this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I love this fucking guy.
Yeah.
So what is it about the show that you like and that you're gravitating to? And how fast did you watch a season? Are you a binger?
I binged it. I mean, I knew obviously when it was coming out. So the next morning I just sat and I tried to watch as much as possible. I was probably done with it in 2 days. Like, I was that into it. But the show was just amazing. I wish that we had more shows like Last Chance U and more shows like Hard Knocks. But I would even venture to say Last Chance U is better than Hard Knocks, just because you get such this raw and gritty look into not just the football, but their lives and the choices they made and how their families impacted their path. And I don't think that we see that enough. And even with the coaches, like, not every coach is like smiley rainbows, happy all the time. In fact, most of them aren't. But I think that fans have this idea that you go into your practice and everybody's like, work hard, you're gonna do great, we're gonna kill them on Saturday. That's just not how sports are.
Right.
And so it just gives such a genuine look onto sports, but on a different level, because JUCO is insane.
And in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, Independence, Kansas, which like every time they like these two, like they've introduced places in the world that no one knows of unless you live in these places.
And now, admittedly, I was like, this may not be as good now that they're leaving Scuba Tech. I was so wrong. This season is amazing. What do you think of Malik?
You know, it's hard not to, like, you want to see them do good. You know, I don't have a problem with any of them. Like, what do you think of them? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I am in no way like this is a terrible kid. He's a product of his circumstance, just like every other person. Yeah.
And the thing about that show is you see it so much, and, you know, these are the kids that may or may not make anything out of sports. But I think one of the things, in professional sports with the highest level dudes is that we take it for granted that a lot of them come from that. They just were able to click, you know, get over the hurdles. Like, you know, these are a lot of the kids that have fucked up the opportunities, you know, and like, you know, like athletes, football, basketball, particularly, like they're from the bottom of the bottom. There's nobody from the Upper East Side where we're doing this podcast who's in the NBA. There's no one from the Upper East Side who's like a tight end, you know, in the NFL. Like it just doesn't coincide. You know what I mean? The work ethic, just the whole thing, the desperation, the luck, the hard work, all of that coincides to become a great athlete. Like there's no one from, you know, I grew up on 85th and 5th Avenue and I'm playing, you know, my 9th year for the fucking, you know, the Knicks at power forward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think in a lot of ways though, even more so like where you're from, it's what you've learned. Like, and I think that's why so many of the backstories are important, because we see, okay, this is what their mom did and their dad did, and this person tried to make the conscious decision to not be like the mom or the dad and say, I want to get out of this place, I want to get out of this trailer, I want to get out of this neighborhood. And so more than just being like, okay, I feel like I'm in a bad situation, it's what can I do to get out of this bad situation? Right. And sometimes you need more of that push, because they went from their whole life not having anybody tell them this is bad to just now encountering people that are saying there's more than this.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the beauty of the show. It's such an amazing show.
Where is that kid Malik now? He's the quarterback, right?
Yes, he's the quarterback. But that's the thing. Malik came from a very middle-class family, very affluent middle-class family. And it's
you see the attitude though. Like you're like you. This is why you're in fucking junior college. This is why you're no longer at Florida.
He will like cuss people out for no reason.
And he's happy when things are good, but no grit, no heart. Do you know where he's at now?
No, so I know that right now he's not anywhere. He's still trying to figure out a way to get to a D1 school.
Wow. All right. Well, I
guess that was a spoiler. My bad. But.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, it's so good, and obviously the coach is, you know, like he's every single thing that you'd want from a shit talking.
But do you like him?
I love him.
Okay.
I mean, but I love him. I love him as a character. I don't like the way he talks to the players all the time.
Yeah.
And I really don't like how he talks to the coaches.
I don't know how anybody would respond to that.
Yeah. I mean, but you see there's no one there who's checking him, because you can't tell people to shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Like you're trash. Like you're a piece of shit. It's so
You're
crazy.
going to get punched in the face. Like you're with other men, tough guys. Like, so like, I think he surrounds himself with people he knows he could get away with.
Yeah.
I'm all for talking shit, and I'm all for, you know, arguing and, you know, and disagreement. But it's like with him, I've never seen any coach or athlete like talk that crazy.
Oh, for sure.
He's crazy.
What's so crazy, it's a little bit off topic, but like the year that they were filming at Independence, Scuba Tech won the national championship.
Right.
I'm like, dang, y'all missed out on them going to championship. Right. But honestly, I'm a big believer in the butterfly effect. And maybe if the filming crew was there, they may not have won the national championship.
Right,
so
I agree.
Who knows? It's crazy that the year they leave, they miss Buddy winning the Natty.
You made national, outside of, you know, New York sports attention. It was your interview last year. It was like it was before preseason last year, the Knicks with the Beasley interview.
With Mike.
So like that was like if you didn't, you know, if you're out of New York, like they were like, yo, what's up with this interview?
Yeah.
Did you know he was going to bring up the 10% of the brain, or did he just start rocking and rolling?
Honestly, I don't even know how we got there. And it's funny. So we were talking about something totally different. He was actually discussing how it did not bother him if people used the N-word. He was saying if people that weren't black, yes, that's what we were discussing. Because my podcast talks a lot about race and society and culture and stuff. And so he was saying that. And then he started to try to explain that words only have power because somebody gave them the power. And when explaining that, he started talking about the brain. So that's when we got on this whole 10%, 11% thing, which is a myth, by the way. And then it just exploded into this incredibly viral moment of Beasley trying to explain to me that if you know that somebody only uses 10, you have to be using 11. And I still don't know what he meant, but it was great.
It was good. And it's live TV. And a lot of times people don't realize, there's cameras, there's pressure, there's sort of like you're in that heightened world. Yeah. I think you did it good because you argued with him, you questioned him.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, we're not going to just let this slide because this logic doesn't make sense. But I will say one thing that I did feel bad with for Michael Beasley was in the podcast, we talked a lot about how he was trying to get away from the stigma of people thinking he was a weed head or that all he did is smoke or that he's some like crazy guy. And he's genuinely such a nice, good character guy. He really, really is. His experience on the podcast was incredible. But then once that came out, you got all these jokes like, oh, Beasley's still high, Beasley's still doing this, and it's just...
Did he talk about smoking weed? Like, did he say, I do smoke weed?
Well, he talked about how he doesn't do that anymore, but he can't get away from it, because for a long time, you equated Michael Beasley with smoking weed.
Right.
But he's like, that's not who I am anymore, but it just kind of showed me, once you get put in a box as something, it's really hard for people to take you out of that box. And I felt terrible that, we put this up and everyone's like, oh, he's still smoking weed, and no, he's just really
of the 10% thing,
yeah,
right?
Because
that
this is a weed conversation,
right,
hey, maybe it is,
right?
But it's just he was so great, and it's really like he's kind of an introspective person. Like these are the conversations that he just has,
right?
So he was great, and it just kind of sucked that people kept talking about weed when they were listening to it.
How much do you enjoy? Like, it's funny because now I say podcasts are like assholes. Everybody has one. Like yes. The podcast world is fucking nuts. And it's such a mainstream thing. And
but do you like that about it, or you think it's kind of oversaturated the market?
Me personally, I think it's oversaturated. Yeah. I think it makes it hard to for people to choose from. A lot of big names will do one for 3 months, and the most when people ask me about podcasts, I go, the most important thing is to be consistent. Whether you drop it on a Monday at 6 a.m., a Wednesday at 4 p.m., Saturday at 2, whatever it is, you have to pick a spot and stick to it.
Yeah, I agree.
To develop
and that's also
audience.
a challenge with it too. It really is, because it was hard for me to be consistent with it, especially when your podcast is guest based.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, when is the guest going to be able to make it, and when are they going to be in town, and all these different things. So you're totally right. Consistency is key.
Yeah, and the guest thing. I think for me, the best thing that we did was that we didn't have guests for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And so we established a thing without it. And then the guests are like the cherry on top, because the guest base, can you get a guest? And do you really, some guests, you want good guests, and you want guests that you want to talk to, because it's tough to sit there and talk to somebody that you don't want to talk to.
Exactly. 100%.
All right. So I asked you about Beasley, which now he's a Los Angeles Laker. So the obligatory, just give me your whole, it changes day to day with fucking LeBron, because just the other day, I'll use the other day, he was at his son's basketball game. And I talk shit about LeBron as a player, but I know he's a great person. I know, the charity that he does is he's opening a school.
Yeah, I promise. Yeah.
All the stuff that he does. But I have to break his chops. I break his
Why do you feel that way?
Well, but just the same reason why. Well, because he brings it on himself.
By the way, you guys should see how into this he just got. He's like, he stood up straighter.
No, but like the other day, he's at his kids, and this has nothing to do with him as a parent. This is not a personal thing. But he's never been in a slam dunk contest in his entire career, in his prime. He could still do one. Last year could have been his prime. But for some reason, while your son's kid is playing, I don't know why, what prompted it. His son might have even asked him. It's a gym full of people in Las Vegas. He goes into what would have been a very competitive slam dunk routine, without even warming up. And I'm like, yo, let Shorty rock. You've never done a dunk contest, but you're out here doing a dunk display.
Yeah.
It's shit like that. And I think he only never did a dunk contest because he was afraid he would lose. and for his brand. So that's why I like poke at him. You know what I mean? That's why I like, and my whole thing with LeBron changed, like a lot of people's, when he first went to Miami.
Okay.
That's when things fell apart. And I was literally right here watching the decision. And then a few days later, watching the fireworks. I was right on this. And I was like, this guy's crazy. I was sitting right here when he was like 6, not 7, not 8. Like, so it's just a plethora of stuff. But that's in the past. LeBron to the Lakers. What is your take? What has been your take on it?
I mean, good for him, but I the whole time wanted him to stay in the East. And I did not believe he was going to the Lakers until it was announced by LeBron. Like, I did not believe it up until the moment. I'm like, why do we all think he's going to the Lakers? This doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if LeBron is going there because he wants to do things other than basketball. That's the only...
Well, he clearly does.
Right. But to me, and it's not there's anything wrong with that, that isn't what I envisioned in my head is what LeBron would want to do. So that's why I didn't believe he was going to Lakers. I'm like, LeBron wants to win more championships. It's LeBron. He wants to win. So him going to LA was just in complete conflict with what I imagined LeBron would do, if that makes sense.
Where did you think he was going to go? Like,
I thought maybe he could have even gone to the 76ers. That's a better squad, I feel like, than going to the Lakers. And then I'm like, oh, well, he must be going to the Lakers because he knows they're going to get Kawhi. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's going to happen. But then Kawhi didn't come. So I get it. You want to set yourself up for life after basketball. And to me, LeBron is going to be the greatest basketball player ever. I'm sure you may think it's Michael Jordan.
He's up there.
But,
I mean,
but that doesn't change his legacy to me.
He's ridiculous. As a basketball player, I mean, like, he's ridiculous. I love them losing to the Warriors, but even his performance in that series and everything up to it was crazy.
Yeah. Do you like the Warriors?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Now, I like the Warriors because going back to Bernard King when he was a Warrior, going back to World Be Free, and of course Chris Mullin run TMZ. So I've always had an affection for that team. And then Steph Curry, you know, I got hip to him from his name from watching his father when he was in college. I just like that team. Yeah. I like Kerr. I liked when Mark Jackson was there. So I've always had they've always had people I like, and I love that they beat the shit. I loved it.
Well, I was going to say it's refreshing to hear somebody say they like the Warriors.
I like them.
I just don't like anytime you bring them up and people say, no, I don't like it. They've ruined basketball. And I have an issue with people being upset that somebody is better at something than everyone else. Like you shouldn't want the Warriors to not try to get a player. That doesn't make sense. Should they not try to get DeMarcus Cousins because they already have good players?
And he
that
didn't
just
get
isn't
offers,
smart.
right?
Right. So, but people love to be like, you don't need a team with Clay and Kevin Durant and Steph and Draymond, and then you want to add DeMarcus Cousins. Why not?
Right.
Like, we always focus on what the Warriors are doing, but not on what the other teams aren't doing.
Right, I agree.
And that's not their fault.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. And you know, it's like, they're like, well, they stacked their team. Well, if they didn't stack their team, and LeBron James won the last, 4 championships, would everybody, you know what I mean? It's like, it's never going to work out the way you want it to work out. I take so much pounding, rooting against the New England Patriots. And I took a pounding, emotionally on myself when LeBron came back with the 3-1. So if you put yourself out there, listen, and I'm a Knicks fan. So I know the pain.
Yeah.
Like, but
let's just say bashing the Patriots is so accepted. Okay,
that's the thing. With LeBron, it's like people are like, you're a hater. I'm like, but you have no problem with the rest of the world shitting all over Tom Brady anytime.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant,
it's true.
shit all over him. Like Derek Jeter, you either if you were a Yankees fan, you loved him. If you didn't, you hated him. Larry Bird, when he played, it was accepted. Nobody likes him, but for some reason, if you don't like LeBron James, you're a hater. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I do agree with that, but just to play devil's advocate, I think when people say that, what they're trying to say is, what has LeBron done that would make you not like him?
It's like Michael Jordan. I wasn't rooting for Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved him when he was in North Carolina. I loved him when he first came in the league. Once he became, and this is when the Knicks were tough, once he became a problem, I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand Michael the same way that I can't stand LeBron. It's a different era. It wasn't social media. These guys were like sort of more mythical because there was no Instagram. You didn't follow them every day. You didn't know what they were doing. So you couldn't really, like, you saw Michael when he showed himself.
Like, seeing Michael was like seeing a unicorn.
Right.
I was like, wow.
It was like seeing the president at that time. Like, he'd come out, he'd have his suit on, you'd see him in a Ferrari, he'd go to the game, he'd have like, it was like, oh shit. And then you'd watch him play, and there was kind of like a mistakeless sort of life. So who knows what he was doing, but it was just a different time. But as far as like, I'm rooting for the Warriors. I want Cleveland to get their ass kicked. And it's LeBron James, so it's even more satisfying. Podcast, wait, before we go to the CJ McCollum, Kevin Durant debacle, which happened last week, because I saw you made a rant, and you know where I stand on this, about whether the New York Knicks and Madison Square Garden is still a mecca. Now, I'm not going to throw you out of my house. I'm not going to kick you off the podcast.
Well, good, because it's such a lovely house.
but so you question whether or not Madison Square Garden, the only arena in the NBA that has all its history intact.
Yes.
It's not a refurbished place. Obviously, they did a little facelift, but that ceiling is the same ceiling that Ali fought Frazier in, Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan fought in.
Yes.
Here comes
There's
Willis.
so much history there. There is so much history there. 100%. I wasn't debating that.
But
I
what's
didn't
the but?
say that.
There's a but.
Let me just say this.
Even if I didn't hear you say but, there's a but in the tone.
Listen, New York, especially when it comes to sports, especially when it comes to basketball, has an amazing history. Nobody can debate that. Amazing things have happened in New York when it comes to athletics. I will say, though, when you ask most people that aren't from New York whether they think that New York still stands for that stuff, most of them will say no.
I agree.
And that's more what I was saying. I'm not saying that you should discount the history. I'm saying, when do we say, like, New York was the mecca of basketball versus New York is still? And that was more so my argument.
Now, did you take flack for that? Because you're on a New York station.
Yes,
like, you're surrounded by New Yorkers.
But listen, Omar don't scare, okay? It doesn't matter to me if I got flack, okay? So, and that's part of it. And that's one thing I genuinely want to hear people's thoughts. And even when I did, I text you, I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? I want to hear.
You see, you were like, I gotta go. And I'm like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're like, all right, I gotta shoot it. I'm like, nah.
I'm a person who genuinely likes to hear when people disagree with me. I want to know every aspect of the argument. I really, truly do. So yes, I caught a lot of shit for saying that, but it was an opinion. It was a commentary, you know?
That's bold, especially being on New York TV.
On New York, like I said, I don't scare, so it's fine.
You quoted the Wire.
The Wire is like my favorite show of this entire life.
So the Knicks now, have you met Fizdale yet?
No, I have not.
He's dope.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, every player loves him. Every player absolutely loves him. So I would assume that the players are going to get along with him, and it'll be good.
I hope, man. And this Kevin Knox, who's like 15 years old.
Now, I do really like Kevin Knox. I was there for the draft, and we interviewed him right after. He was super nice. It seemed like he really had his head on straight. And usually I think that players would maybe get rattled or feel a little down that it was the biggest night of their life and they got booed, you know, kind of like Porzingis.
Was the booing prominent?
The booing was loud.
Damn.
But Kevin Knox was like, it doesn't bother me. He was like, I'm going to go out and I know that the fans are going to really love me after. And the players were really excited when right after he got drafted, I called Enes Kanter just to kind of get his thoughts and, you know, what he would do for the team. And he's like, you know, he's filling a need that, like, it's a hole that we really, really need filled. So that's going to be great for him. And he jokingly was like, and he went to Kentucky, so I know he has a high basketball IQ. So, so he was kidding with that. But a lot of the players are really, really excited.
So when you're interviewing people, there's an enigma in sports. You're a girl, you're an attractive girl, pretty girl, which automatically guys, athletes, people, it's like the chips are already sort of stacked against you in some ways, but in other ways, you could work it into. But when you're interviewing people, is there a sense of like this person, like when you say Knox, he's a good kid, like are the kids looking at you? Like, do you feel like the kids specifically at the draft, like, are they tripped out by you because you're a woman? You're their age-ish. You know, you're a few years older. No, but you're like, some of these guys
I am
are 20.
fairly young.
You're in the same places, you know, socially, just by age. Like, how do you like sort of wrap your head around that and sort of keep things focused and without being like ultra serious? Because you're not like, you have opinions, you have a sense of humor. And you don't want to be like Mr. Stat person because you're not Mr. Stat person. How do you find that balance to be comfortable with yourself but be taken seriously, but also not be like, I'm like, doing a 60-minute piece.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I have always been a person who believed in just being who I am. There was a time when I very first started in the business, when I started at the Big Ten Network, I felt like I was supposed to act the way a journalist was supposed to act. And I realized I was so much better when I just acted like myself. I asked the questions that I wanted to ask. I responded to answers the way that I wanted to. And I've never felt like it was my responsibility to make other people comfortable with me. It's like, this is who I am, and you're either going to take that or you're going to leave that. And you run into a kind of murky water when you're trying to fit like what you want people to think about you.
Right.
And that's just something I've never done. And obviously, like, there's going to be, some men who will look at me and be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy I'm being interviewed by her. But that doesn't really bother me. Right. Just kind of is what it is. Everybody has always been incredibly professional when I've talked to them. The thing that probably is the most irritating is, no, you're totally fine, is probably fans or like people on Twitter. It's like, I will do interviews that are some of my best, some of my absolute strongest. I get people to say things that they have never said. But when it goes up, everybody just wants to talk about me or how I look or how I'm sitting or what I'm wearing. And I become some meme. And it's like, did you guys even listen to my work? Like, thinking, if someone thinks I'm attractive or whatever, that's not even the fifth best thing about me. Right. I'm also incredibly smart, and I'm caring, and I'm fun, and but everybody focuses on the one thing. And that's the more irritating thing.
You're prominent on social media. How old are you?
26.
20. Is that an open thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You're right. It's cool. It's 2018.
26.
Everything's open.
Yes.
All right. So you're like, I'm big on Twitter. I'm 48 years old. 26. Like, you grew up with Twitter, social media. You're on sport. You talk sports, which automatically people are going to disagree, talk shit. Mm-hmm. You're a woman, good-looking woman. How are you reading your comment? Like, automatically, if you're talking sports, people, fuck you, the Mecca's, the New York is the Mecca. Yeah. And then it's like, fuck you, or you look hot, you don't look hot. Fuck her, she doesn't know what he's saying. How do you wrap around your head around that abuse? Because I don't care who you are. Mm-hmm. If you're on Twitter, Gandhi would get insulted on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who you, Muhammad Ali, people would talk shit.
Someone is going to say some shit to you. It doesn't matter who you are.
So how do you sort of process your Twitter thick skin?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it? And have you gotten into Twitter beefs? Do you respond back?
No, I've not gotten into Twitter beefs. My thing is, I don't believe in reading Instagram comments. So I don't read Instagram comments, but I do read Twitter mentions.
Instagram comments you don't read?
Because Instagram comments, especially if it's a picture of you, the comments are just going to be about you.
Right.
But on Twitter, I'm talking about things. So my comments, there may be some about me, but there's
I got you.
And I don't really think it's healthy to read Instagram comments.
I got you.
But as far as Twitter, it's like, I really mean it when I say it doesn't matter to me what people say. I understand that Twitter is a place where you're supposed to agree or disagree, but it's also something that can be done respectfully. It's more so bothersome when you see how disrespectful people are.
Yeah, people are crazy.
Yeah.
Are you a blocker, a muter? You don't
I don't like to give people the satisfaction of me blocking
I
them.
used to not want to.
Oh, do you do it now?
Now I'm like, fuck you. I want you to, and I'm like, I've made announcements like I'm blocking, I'm Dikembe Mutombo, Marky, blocking everybody. If you wear being blocked by somebody as a badge of honor, if that's proud and that's gonna help you sleep at night, good, because I'm blocking.
No, it's not even that. It's that if you block the person, they know you read it, and that's what bothers. So it's like, I don't want to block because I don't want them to think I even saw it, because that's what they want. They want to be like, oh, they saw what I said and they didn't like it and hurt their feelings.
Right.
So it's like it's like my ego. I can't block. I can't.
That's good.
Yeah. My
You,
pride won't let me do it.
You're better off that way. All right, before I get to CJ Katie, because I'm jumping all around.
You're fine.
You're at the ESPYs?
Mm-hmm. No, at the NBA Awards.
NBA Awards.
Yes.
Okay. How dope, like, you're obviously a fan. Mm-hmm. Like, so, and now you're people are starting to see you more nationally. You have like your lane is developing, it's growing and all that stuff. Are you still able to like appreciate being a fan of the game, of the athletes, and who are the people in your career that you've gotten to meet that knew you, that were fans of yours, that seen you were like, oh shit, so-and-so knows me?
Yeah. Okay. Most people wouldn't think this was that cool, but I loved it. This wasn't at the NBA Awards, though. I went to a charity gala. It was actually run by Jamie Hector, who was the guy that plays Marlo in The Wire. And I get there and I'm walking out and someone like taps me and it's like, I watch you on SNY all the time. You're my favorite. and it was Clay Davis from The Wire.
Oh, that's funny.
So I freaked out because I really love The Wire. So that was really, really cool. But as far as athletes go, I had Rasheed Wallace on my podcast. That was amazing. There's still some people. He says whatever's on his mind, which I love. Good. He's so great. Rasheed Wallace was fantastic. Curtis Martin, that was really, really nice. But I'm trying to make sure when I meet these people that are legends and just icons in their sport, I take a minute to be like, look at what you're doing. Pay attention to this moment, like live in this moment. Because I don't ever want to be super desensitized to what I'm doing. And to me, like, I'm still young. This is so cool. I wake up and can't believe this is my job. I just feel so thankful. But I try to keep the fan in me. I'm not really a fan of any team except for the Falcons. And there's players that I enjoy and I respect, but I just want to make sure I keep the moments in mind.
I got you. Because for me, that is the same thing, like in terms of keeping the fan, because that's the reason why you started doing it to begin with. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's not like algebra class where you're like, damn, I gotta go.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like meeting people you look up to, and sometimes it's good and bad. You don't want them to like let you down.
Right.
And so you can't build people up too much. Right. And I remember once I heard somebody say that great men are not always good men. And that is so true. Right. Like just because somebody can, dunk a basketball or, get a touchdown doesn't make them Mother Teresa.
Right. Or be a president.
Yeah, definitely that. So yeah, it's just keeping that in mind. Everyone is human, but of course there's people that your impact that you had on sport and society is just amazing. I'm just thankful that I get to talk to you.
Last week's big NBA, which is now a 365-day a year, 24/7. It could be 25/8. It's nonstop. Yeah. The NBA is. I love it's my favorite sport, but like even sometimes I'm like, what is this? This is like turning into.
Is this a story?
This is crazy. Yeah. But the CJ McCollum, you have a podcast, I have a podcast. CJ McCollum had Kevin Durant on his podcast, and I love Kevin Durant. Now I couldn't stand when he first left Oklahoma, but I bought into it, and I totally got it when they wound up winning, and I'm a big fan, and I thought. Is someone who gets called a snake and a cupcake. He kept it all the way real with CJ McCollum. Like he told him to his face, and he's laughing. It's like you're not winning shit.
Yeah, he did.
This turned into a whole thing and a Twitter thing
on his own podcast. I was like, thanks. And I've had both of them on my podcast, and they're both great, great guys. But I think that in Kevin's case, like. I completely agree. Kevin was incredibly real with CJ on the podcast. And now it just seems like whenever Kevin says anything, he's just like stoned for it. I mean,
it doesn't matter what he says.
And that goes back to what I say. When people put you in a box, it's really hard to get out of that box. He's doing what every athlete does on social media. But when he does it, oh, you're such a baby. Get out your feelings. Why do you keep talking to your fans? Like, every basketball player does that. Damian Lillard does it a lot. CJ also does it a lot. You use Twitter however you want, but he's never going to get out of that. You had burner accounts and you care what people say, no matter how long he lives.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way around it.
It's going to stay with him.
He's just got to embrace it at this point.
Yeah, I wonder, though, if there's anything he can do that...
Nothing. He just gave crazy amount. It doesn't charity.
But I mean, for example, what do you think would happen if he ever left the Warriors? How would that change how people think that what they think of him?
If he left the Warriors and let's say he came to the Knicks and whenever his contract's up and whenever that run's going to come to an end at a certain point, Steph, doesn't seem like he's going to play. I don't know. He's going to play as I don't know. Every team comes to an end at a certain point. So if he left the Warriors or he left the Warriors, before they could win a championship and he could go wherever. I don't think it's ever going to, there's always going to be that on him. It's been such a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's caused so many opinions.
Yeah, it's like polarizing.
I mean, he'd have to go to like the Knicks and win a championship or like the Wizards and win a championship or like, and then like, but even then people they're going to say stuff because he's not going to do it by himself because no team can win a championship in this NBA, quote unquote, by themselves.
True.
There's just no way, you're just not going to do it because the teams are so stacked. Which, in my opinion, and I've said it many times, Kevin Durant just did what LeBron tried to do. He's just done it better. Like
you think so? Okay, explain.
Well, like LeBron started this big three shit. Him, Dwayne Wade, and
Bosh.
They started this shit. Okay, they won 2 championships. What were they? 2 for 4, and then he went back to Cleveland. He started this shit.
Okay, but for what it's worth,
they were in their prime.
Yeah, but for what
the
it's
Boston
worth,
thing, they were not in their prime.
I think stories have a different meaning based on where you start them. So if we're saying, okay, LeBron, left Cleveland, went to Miami, joined those 2, won some championships, then he went back to Cleveland. That's different than like LeBron told Cleveland one day he was going to win them a championship. He came back years later and did it.
Fantastic.
You know what I'm trying to say?
But what if he never did it?
But he did, so that doesn't matter.
Right. I hear that. The thing about Kevin Durant is like, LeBron started this. Yo, you're my guy. You're my guy. We're playing on this team. Kevin Durant just did it better. He's on a better team that has more legs, more longevity. He's happy there. He's happy not being the focal point every single night. That's something that Kevin Durant doesn't. He doesn't mind that Steph shines. He doesn't mind that Klay shines. He doesn't mind that Draymond shines. And I don't think that LeBron ever. He's a fantastic team player. I just think that like the abuse this guy gets, like he started this shit. And like last year, Paul George, Carmelo, and Russ, that didn't work. The Houston
you
things,
don't
like,
think
it's
you
not
don't
always
think
gonna
like
work.
Jordan's Bulls. You don't think they were also a team that?
But that was drafted.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that they started like making their own big three
You're
versus
my guy,
falling
you're
into
my guy.
it.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna hang out. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think the NBA is gonna have to step in at some point because they're like, well, could Kevin Durant go to the Lakers? What the fuck, man? Like at a certain point, this shit's got to stop. Like, there's got to be some balance. Like, what about? I don't give a fuck about the Orlando Magic, but what about the Orlando Magic?
Yeah, there's
what
like
about the Atlanta
there's
Hawks?
like 5 NBA teams.
Right. It's crazy.
If that.
It's crazy. So I just think at a certain point, if this continues, and these guys have grown up knowing each other, and now it's even more intense. Like they've known each other since they're 10. You know who you like, you know who you don't like. They've played with each other since 11 years old, 13 years old. And the ones that make it to the NBA, they're just gonna be like, it's like a cool kids clique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good. I just don't think it's good for the league.
Do you like that? Because I know people have differing opinions on this, like how players are friends.
No.
Does that bother you?
Hell yeah, it bothers me.
Really?
Yes, it bothers me.
Why?
I think that it takes that edge away. It takes that I'm going to knock you on your ass edge away.
But do you really believe that back then they weren't friends? You just think we didn't see it?
They didn't know each other. Like, Magic and Larry, like, let's talk about, this is a different time. There was no AAU, but they said they met on a basketball court.
Yeah.
So you've heard about them. I've heard about you. You're supposed to be a badass. We come out, we shake hands, and we see what it is. And obviously over years, but they kept that distance. I just think that when they're too good of friends, and I just think it can take away that edge. The thing I do love about Steph Curry, the thing I love about like the Warriors clique outside of Kevin Durant, because he's a little younger than them, and he came up with LeBron and them, is that like Steph. Number one, you never see his workout videos. You never see his shooting videos. You know he's doing it.
But you know he can shoot.
You know he's doing something. And also, like, he doesn't really fuck with those guys too much. Like, he obviously they've been on teams together and all-star games, but like they keep their distance. Klay Thompson's like he's like a rogue dude. He does his own thing, and I think that's because because they grew up, their parents are in the NBA, and I think there's pros and cons to that. But I'm like, we're not cool.
Mm-hmm.
You see the summer, this Olympic, whatever the USA.
Like the USA mini
There's
camp
no
that's
way
going
around
on.
softening, because you're hanging, you're eating food. And there's no way to change that. I just think that there's that microcosm of an edge that I think, like, you're not scared of this person.
Yeah.
You know this person.
I want to do whatever it takes to bring you down.
I've met his wife. I met his family. Like, there's as opposed to Moses
As opposed to
Malone. Moses Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I would put money that they never hung out. Moses never hung out with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like they didn't chill at the club afterwards.
It's just funny to hear someone talk about basketball from such a different time than I know it.
Yes.
Because the way I know it, everyone's friends.
I know.
And it doesn't seem weird, but I completely get that. Because I think even in some ways it's different for football. Even in football, they aren't as friendly as they are in basketball.
Right.
And I think in a lot of ways in football, you can't. This is somebody you literally have to kill on the field.
Right.
It would be hard if And when they are friends, they're almost always the same position. Like you'll see Jarvis Landry and Odell, they're friends, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to be on the field at the same time.
Right.
But you don't
the
see
offensive guys are cool with the
you're not seeing like a corner that's best friends with the wide receiver.
Right.
That just isn't necessarily
or
how
like
it
a
goes.
middle linebacker
Who's like cool with the quarterback.
Right, or with the wide receiver who he's going to try to knock his
You're
head off.
You're not friends with the person that you're about to sack.
Right.
So it's just such a different dynamic in basketball, and it's just interesting to me.
The obligatory, I'm so sick of it, and I don't know how it's going to end, how it's going to figure out. I feel like it's going to be the main conversation of the NFL outside of, football, the kneeling. Mm-hmm. I support the players, but somehow or another, it's superseding the damn game. And I felt like this rule that they put out there, and I think they took it back where you can't kneel.
Because it was a ridiculous rule.
Ridiculous. Now they've rescinded it?
Mm-hmm. Though they said that they're freezing the talks of the protests so until all teams can come to like a good agreement.
Where's your head at on the whole thing?
My thing is, it doesn't matter to me if you're kneeling and if we're talking about it during football because this is a real thing.
Right.
Like what they're protesting is going to happen regardless. So I think it's selfish for me to feel like, oh, this is disrupting my football when it's disrupting other people's lives.
Right.
So I'm not looking at it in that sense. And I think Malcolm Jenkins did an interview the other day. I can't remember who asked him. Maybe it was Lester Holt. I may be wrong, but I think it was Lester Holt said, is this bad for the game of football? Malcolm Jenkins says, that's not my concern. And it's not. Like, they are protesting people who are dying.
Yeah.
Because of racial inequality and just racial inequality for Black and brown people. So my focus is not like, what is this going to be for the NFL? It's like, what is this going to be for the United States?
Right.
Are we going to fix this? Is this something that we can make better? And it bothers me that people say that this is them bringing politics into sports because
politics have always, there'd be no Muhammad Ali without politics.
But it's not even just that. To me, like politics is, I want free healthcare. Politics is like, what are we going to do about taxes?
But politics
Saying
have always
that
been...
a Black person should be treated correctly is not politics.
Right.
And anybody who thinks that, I just think that's ridiculous.
And going, whether it's Jackie Robinson, Joe Louis, it's synonymous with sports. Mm-hmm. Like, it's synonymous, race, politics, social issues.
They intersect so
Muhammad
much.
Ali, he would not be Muhammad Ali. He'd be a fighter if he didn't stand up for what he believed in. So I'm all for it. The thing, to me, it's just, it's not about interrupting the game, whatever. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't understand how it's got it. To me, it's crazy that it's like the president is talking about it. Lester Holt, it's like, it's just crazy. And every athlete, they have to talk about it. Like, they're asked about it.
And honestly,
you're asked about it.
Some people are kind of put into bad positions. Like, I guess, so I think it was earlier this week, Jerry Jones said, if you're a Cowboy, you're going to be on the line, whatever. Jerry Jones has accepted so many worse things than that, but that's a different discussion. But because he said that, you then force Dak into a situation where he has to talk about it because Jerry Jones said that his players can't protest. So then you're like, well, Dak, what do you think about protesting? And even though I disagree with Dak's answer, Dak has to say, I don't protest. I don't believe in protesting. I think it's the wrong place and the wrong venue. And you're putting your players into this really bad situation by just not saying my players can do what they feel.
Right.
And now Dak is getting all this backlash
because crushed.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh, really? You don't think they should?" And like, I don't think that you're bad for not protesting.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make you bad.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of ways, I wish maybe everyone had a united front, and it was like, if you want to protest, cool, and if you don't, then don't. But if one person goes away from the message, it's something that people can grab onto. It's like, well, Dak, this Black quarterback said you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
And you just like don't even want to give people those outs as a part of their argument.
Right. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just like,
oh, every day it's going to be something.
Every day.
The, yeah.
Every day. And I think it doesn't even deal with the problem. It deals with, do you think they should be doing it or do you think they should not be doing it? I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, when the question is never, what can we do to make it better? That's what really irritates me.
It's not about that. It's like.
Now we're trying to prove a point as to why we should be able to protest.
It's not even
and
about.
It's not.
Right. It superseded the issue that it started the whole thing. Do you play fantasy football?
Of course I do.
You play fantasy football?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
need someone else on your team, and do you play for money?
Oh, hell
Because I
yeah.
only play for money.
Okay, wait. You must not.
No,
You must not
there
have
are
known-
some leagues
You
it's
must not know.
It's like you get a trophy. I'm like, fuck the trophy. Okay, I don't need the trophy.
All right, so how deep are you? Wait, are you not aware that I'm a senior fantasy football analyst? Did
No,
that slip over you
I
like my
did not
resume
know
when you?
that.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. I'm a senior
Yeah.
fantasy football analyst. I took the quiz. I have the license. I have the plaque and everything. So, all right. So to end this conversation, because
Okay.
I know you got to go, but we are heading into mock draft season.
We are.
Duress mock draft season.
Yes.
And then waterboard duress mock draft season. That's my 3 phases
Like
of
you
preparing.
are like really
Oh
doing
yeah,
this.
it's mock, just basic, and then duress mock, and
Okay.
then waterboarding duress mock.
Okay.
So where's your head at with fantasy? And do you play leagues? Like, what's your sort of general?
I do leagues, but see, I don't even, just for my sanity, I don't even start thinking about like necessarily what my draft is going to be until after training camp. So I don't do it until then because anything could happen. I mean, like
Yes.
Elijah McGuire just got injured and he could be like your third string running back on your fantasy team.
Yes.
Like, so there's no point to me in doing it until first week of the season.
And do you play like? Are you like a shit talker? Are you blood, or you just
Honestly,
want the money?
I should talk things in real life, but I'm just gonna go out there. My team's gonna beat you.
Are you
don't-
successful?
Yeah, I'm good. I play in my mom's work fantasy league, and
Okay,
they're
see.
no.
Are they about
It's-
that life?
100%. My mom is the only other. Me and my mom are the only women in it.
Okay.
I mean, it's like her whole office.
But you're
full.
like cheaters because you guys are not just like, oh, we're like, you guys are sports people.
Yeah. Oh no, we get into it.
Okay.
Listen, if you have an open spot, I will play in your league, and
I
I
might
will
have-
show you that I will beat you.
I
in
might have a
fantasy.
spot.
Did you win last year?
I'm going to be totally honest. I've never won a league. I've come
Really?
close.
Okay.
And I've never won. Last year in my blood and guts, heart and soul league, I lost in the Super Bowl. And it was really hard to swallow. Like
Yeah.
I'm all in. Like I'm all into fantasy.
No, I love it. And it makes watching football even more fun.
A
Because
whole
the
new
only
level.
team I root for is the Falcons. But when my players are on teams, I am going so hard
Yeah.
for them to just have a good game.
Yeah,
It makes it a lot of fun.
I agree. It changed my whole love and appreciation for the NFL as a whole because I would just be like Giants. And now, like if I have to, I don't like to do it, but if I have to, I will take a Patriot. Like I will get Tom Brady if he's available.
I take whoever is going to help me
That's
win.
it.
I don't have an issue.
It supersedes. Like, yo,
Yeah.
I'll take that guy. I'll root for,
Yeah.
and if it's the Patriots playing the Giants and it's week 10, obviously I want the Giants to win, but I'll be totally honest. Rapaport's light, a.k.a. There Will Be Blood, the name of my team, I want them to win even more.
Okay, seriously, if you have an open spot, tell me. I will leave no questions as to my fantasy ability.
All right, cool. All right, Taylor Rooks, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
I appreciate you for having me. It was a lot
I would
of
love
fun.
to come on yours one day.
Oh, it's on.
And,
you can come on.
and everything that you're doing, I wish you luck.
Thank you.
And and I'm gonna see about this fantasy stuff. We could even go head up. Like, will you play like head up? Like, like okay.
I will.
I like it.
Listen. I'm a big. Just to prove to you that I'm good, I will do
I
whatever.
don't doubt that you're not
whatever
good,
you need.
but I will go-
But you need to know.
Yes, no problem. No problem.
Yes,
DraftKings is I'll give you my my call name on DraftKings. All right, Taylor Rooks. You can find it. You're on Twitter at Taylor
Yes,
Rooks.
Twitter, Instagram, everything is just at Taylor Rooks. Very easy.
All right, appreciate it. All right, I want to thank our guest, Taylor Rooks. Continued success, continue doing your thing. I appreciate you rocking with the best. I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Again, this Saturday night, August 4th, live from New York, Gramercy Theater. Me and G Moody, last name rhymes with Duty. The Dust Brothers are going to be in the house. We're meeting and greeting everybody who shows up. Tickets are still available at the Gramercy Theater, August 4th. You can get tickets at IamRapaportTour.com. That's IamRapaportTour.com. We're back at the crib. You know what we do. Miles, Jordan, take us out of here with something nice, something real proper.
Yes.
Take us out of here with a banger.
Peace.
All right, peace.